Hey, what's up guys? This is Worse, and welcome to Worse Covers. Yeah guys, me and Trav are back to do something that I've thought about doing for a while. I wasn't sure how to really do it, but I think the only way to do it is just to do it. We're going to be going through a band's entire discography and just taking... It won't be like a full review of each album because that would take a long time, but like just kind of looking and commenting like what we like about this very consistent band. Like they are very consistent in what they do, and I admire.
And they are Chevelle.
Pretty much every one of their covers.
Let's just talk about the band for a second, because they're currently my favorite band. Like they are absolutely my rock band, and they are family. You know what I mean? Like they are three guys that just know what they're doing. They don't try to be anybody that they're, you know, they don't try to shoot for fame and fortune. They just kind of keep it grounded. And the one thing that I've always found very interesting is the fact that one of the members, Dean, he's the bassist, he does the art for the albums. He makes the albums. And obviously in the past they had a different member for the bassist, and so back in the Wonder What's Next days, they didn't have Dean yet, so that the glass-breaking Wonder What's Next album cover is not Dean's work, but it still looks good. That's their second album, and it looks good. Like, I love that look, and it's probably the one that if I ever did a meet and greet with these guys, I would go and get a big vinyl signed of that, because it just reminds me of Chevelle immediately, because it's nostalgic. If anybody out there is a fan of Chevelle, you know Wonder What's Next, the look of the album. You just know that that's them.
Personally, yeah, for me it's very nostalgic as well. Like that's part of why I love this album as much as I do. Like album and the cover. But it's just so bizarre. Like their style's always been a little bit bizarre. It makes you take a second look.
Yeah, like, it's like it literally explodes in your face. Like, you know, that's the first time that they used their font that they kept until today. That it's like just the best band font, and it's not just because they're my favorite band, but it's literally like my eyes just, I love the way it looks, you know, when they're live and it's in the background written. It looks so cool. This type of thinking, just full white, little bit of gray, and the fact that the title of the album is around the X in the corner was a cool idea, and they've always used cool fonts every single time underneath, and their X logo has always been in most of their albums in some way, and it's just such a cool little corner piece to have. Sci-Fi Crimes is so brilliant to look at. The forest with the skeletons, and it almost like looks like skeletons hiding from the UFO or something. And on the back of the album, I actually own most of these albums. The UFO is on the other side as well, the opposite side of the UFO. So the fact that it's like halfway, it just some kind of style to it. The color, and this is when Dean came on the scene and did the art for the band, and it's just something so cool about that, you know, like that just the band members themselves created all the art for their work.
Like they're not outsourcing to some company to do it or something like that. What I really like about Chevelle's style and their consistency is they usually have their font, and I love that font as well. Like as you're reading that, you take a second look. There's smaller lettering underneath it. Sometimes they switch it up.
This is always the title of the album. Like,
I love that style.
Any Last Words, 10-year live album. I love the look at this thing. This is one of my favorite ones. It's just a really cool piece, and it just makes me wonder how many pieces that Dean has done that just didn't go through as an album, and the fact that he's just a painter himself. Like, this looks like a painting. It was a Stray Arrows album, because it's like kind of a Starry Night painting. It almost looks similar, but the theme is like, you know, the skeleton with the trees. It almost looks like it's literally like the night after for Sci-Fi Crimes or something. And Chevelle written logo, they have a different design for each one. Hats off to the bull. We could talk about that.
It's very subtle.
It's a shiny,
very
shiny. And that's the one. That's this one that looks actually like the logo of a car. That would go on a logo of a car, and like the North Corridor. it's not as stretched. You see that it's not as stretched, and that it's more scratched in. It has like that design.
Each design is pretty memorable. Like each design has its own like flavor to it. It's a good mix of painting, like hand drawn and painting and digital art. They're all about using these interesting textures.
Like they have a weird theme going on with the goat. You know, they had like a thing going on with Hats Off with like the bull, and the bull was like a statue on their stage. You know, and on their merchandise, they now have like a goat hoodie and all this. Skeletons and animals, you're kind of like got that kind of dark tone. Dean really takes attention to detail when designing the albums, and he's designed the albums ever since he came on the scene. And in some way, I love every album's look. You know that they have good album art, you know, covers to their albums. If you get excited about the next piece of album, like the way it's gonna look, like, so next year we should get a new Chevelle album, the 9th studio album. They have a big track record, and I'm just so excited about what's that gonna look like, what's the color gonna be. And personally, just as a prediction for me, I want to see them bring back the Stray Arrows kind of blue.
That's it. That is a cool, interesting thing. Like, maybe with a lot of bands, I'm not excited about what's their next album going to look like. Like, I don't really think about it.
One of the first things that comes to my mind when I think of a new Chevelle release, what's the album going to look like? You know, and that's great. And if you're a fan of Chevelle, you probably know what I'm talking about. And even if people aren't fans of Chevelle, somebody somewhere has looked at these albums and like, this looks pretty cool. It looks like a painting. Well, guess what? It is a literal art piece that a member made, and it's so cool.
So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. This was kind of an experiment, sort of a free-flow episode.
Our chance to rave about a band that we mutually love.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, and we're not necessarily talking about the band, because I could go on a billion years about Chevelle, but like just talking about the albums themselves and the look of the albums.
It's interesting to talk about. It's interesting. It's worth talking about, and that's the whole point of this show. Like, I think stuff like this is worth talking about, and like, if I were to talk about movie posters, every one of them is worth talking about. It's like, but at any rate, guys, thank you so much for watching, and have an awesome week, and
subscribe.